Hi guys, so today we are going to learn how to classify polynomials. Okay, so here, starting here, a polynomial is an expression which, when it's written in standard form, can be written like this. Right? So here it looks a little bit confusing because there's a lot of letters here, but normally there'll be numbers in its place. Right? And so one thing that's special about it in standard form is that we have our exponents and they are decreasing. We're going to see more when we're classifying them in a bit. Okay? But here our exponents are decreasing exponents and they are integers, meaning they are not fractions. Okay? Greater than or equal to 0. Okay? The number that's in front of our x, these are known as coefficients here. And when we're talking about our polynomials, the terms of a polynomial are the individual expressions. The polynomial is the sum of all of our terms together. When it's written in standard form, the first term of our polynomial in standard form is known as the leading term. And the degree of the polynomial is the largest exponent. The leading coefficient is the coefficient of the leading term of the polynomial in standard form. Okay? So there are two ways in which we name our polynomial. One is by its degree, its exponent, okay? And the other is by the number of terms. Okay? So here's an example and then what we call it. Okay. When it's a 0-degree polynomial, what we end up just having is a number, right? So example is like 7. This is known as a constant. Okay? And the reason why it's a degree of 0 is really because it is 7 times x to the 0 power, which we know is just 7 times 1, which is just 7. And that's why when here we would say that it's a degree of 0. It's known as a constant. Okay? Here, when it's a degree of 1, the reason why it's because it's x to the first power here, this is known as a linear polynomial. Right? And if you look at it, it's written similar to our linear function, right? Y equals mx plus b, right? Which is the equation of a line. So this is a linear polynomial. Okay. When it's a degree of 2, okay, this is what we call a quadratic. We will be learning how to graph quadratics in the next couple of units here. Okay. When it's a degree of 3, right, so here it's written in standard form, right, we can see that it's decreasing in power, x to the third, x to the first, no x's. Okay, so here it's always the highest exponent. So here x to the third, this is known as a cubic polynomial. 4th degree here, right, it is in standard form, so that's why x to the 4th, x to the 2nd, x to the 1st. So 4 is the highest degree here. This is known as a quartic polynomial. Okay. If it's 5, so 5th degree here, this is known as a quintic polynomial. And anything that is more than 5, we would just write whatever the number is and then write degree. Right? So in this case, this would be a 10th degree polynomial. Okay. So the other way we name polynomials is by the number of terms. Okay. So here, when there is only, terms are separated by the plus or minus sign. Okay, so here there is one term here. This is known as a monomial. Okay. If it has two terms like this, right, so one term is 5x, the other term here is 6. Okay, this two terms is known as a binomial. when it has three terms. Again, terms are separated by the addition and subtraction sign. So here we have one term, two terms, three terms. When we have three terms, this is a trinomial. And then anything more than three, right? So example here, we have one term, x to the fourth. The second term is negative 2x cubed. The third term is 10x squared. The last term here is the minus 5. Here we have more than three terms. That is called a polynomial. And so that is how we name our polynomials. So here we're going to first discuss why the following examples are not polynomials. Okay, so here, this is not a polynomial because of this term here. Okay. 8x to the negative second has a negative exponent. And because of that negative exponent, this would not be considered a polynomial. Okay. Here, 9x squared plus 2x plus 1 over x. Because of this term here, remember, 1 over x is really x to the negative first power. So again, that's a negative exponent. Okay. And so it would not be considered a polynomial. In this one here, 2 to the x plus 3 to the x plus 4 to the x, right? The reason why this is not a polynomial is because our variable, our letter here, is in the exponent position, and so that is why this last one is not a polynomial. So in order to be a polynomial, our exponents have to be whole numbers. Right? So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, etc. Okay. So here we're going to practice. We're going to rewrite each polynomial in standard form. We're going to identify the leading coefficient, the degree, and the number of terms. And then we're going to name it. Okay. So when we're writing in standard form, it starts with the highest exponent. Okay. So here it's x to the second. Then it's x to the first, and then it's our constant. So in standard form, this would be negative 5x squared plus 4x to the first power, and then here is a positive 3 plus 3. Right? So no, it's x to the second, x to the first, and then no x. Okay? My leading coefficient, that relates to my leading term here. My leading coefficient is negative 5. It is the number in front of whatever x to the highest power is. Okay. The degree is your exponent here of your highest one. Okay, so this here is my leading term. Let's figure out how I'm going to write it. Okay, so this here is the leading term. It is from that I decide my leading coefficient. Okay. And it is from this 2 here that determines that degree. Okay. How many terms are there? There are 3 terms. 1, 2, 3. 3 terms. And so the name of this, since the degree is 2, it would be a quadratic. Since there are 3 terms, it would be a trinomial. Okay. So this name is based on the degree, and this name here is based on the number of terms. Okay. So quadratic because it's degree of 2. Trinomial because there's 3 terms. Negative 5x squared, 4x, and 3. So let's do the next one here. Okay, so starting with my highest exponent, that's x to the 4th. So 8x to the 4th. Then it's the x squared. It's positive, so plus 3x squared. And then the one without the x. Okay. My leading coefficient, so once it's in standard form, the one in front is my leading term. From there, we get our leading coefficient. It's the number in front. It's the coefficient for that term, so that's an 8. Okay. The degree, it's based on the leading term, so here the degree is 4. Okay. And number of terms it has, 1, 2, 3, so it happens to also have 3 terms. So the degree of this, the name, it's a quartic because of the 4, and 3 terms, so it is a trinomial. So because degree of 4, it's quartic. Because there are 3 terms, it is known as a trinomial. Okay. Have a great rest of the day. Bye, guys.